Oh, we are live! How are we, lads? Come on, the footy! The footy's back! Guys, subscribe to the channel. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah! The Cowboys win it! Woo! Welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Thursday night football review for round 17 of the 2022 NRL season. And the Sharks versus the Storm tonight down there at Shark Park. And bugger me, Cronulla with a dominant 28 points to 6 result. I'm joined by regular YouTuber ProEnzo Vidz. ProEnzo Vidz, how are you, bro? And what a result for the Sharks.
Going great. And yeah, you're fucking hell. That was a great win by the Sharks. I mean, I tipped Sharks and I think you did as well. So, Melbourne were just, they were on tonight, but it's all Sharks and credit to them. They played really well at home. So it was a great win.
Great win for the Sharks, and obviously we'll get into the review in just a sec. But first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to get into the live chat. I see we've got a few people rolling in here as we speak. Hello to Luke, Melbourne Storm fan. He says, I'm very, very angry with that loss. It's all right, mate. I can send you some tissues via email. Just send me your address, mate, and I'll send you some if you want to cry yourself to sleep. It's all right, mate. Storm will be right in when they get their Origin players back, but yeah. Don't think about it too hard. I mean, you'll be right, bro. Jaden Lambert, how are you, my friend? CJ Moxley is here as well. We got Samson 6000. Faraz Alam is in the house. We've got Julian, Metallic Panther, Electrical Dust, and good to see the crowd building up here for the Thursday night football review around 17 of the 2022 NRL season. All right. The first thing I want to mention about this game tonight with the Sharks and the Storm, obviously it was Thursday night 40 down there in the Shire. I want to talk about the cannonball tackle, Lorenzo. There was a dangerous cannonball tackle on Brandon Smith in the 27th minute of the game. And there were a lot of things that happened tonight, but in particular, the cannonball tackle was one that I'm starting to get really sick of seeing. Obviously, Brandon Smith did a cannonball tackle a few weeks ago against the Cowboys on Taumalolo when they played up in Townsville back in round 9 or 10, I think, or 11. I think it was round 11 from what I remember.
Yeah, 11, yeah.
And it did happen. It did happen tonight. Smith did receive a cannonball tackle. Does the cannonball tackle need to have bigger punishments, bro? Because it just seems to be one of the most dangerous tackles in the game right now.
I think for sure it does. I mean, I've said this to you a couple of times, and I think, it's a very bad tackle because what it does is it exposes the knee, and it makes the knee kind of in a position where it can get badly injured and can really affect. It's really a bad injury that can affect your knee, to be honest. And I think we see it too often. And I mean, what's the suspension now for it?
3 weeks, 2 weeks. It's not long enough for me, bro.
Should be 8 or 10, I reckon. Make it harsh.
Well, I'm just reading the chat, and CJ is saying that Liam Knight's season's over now as well. And look, we saw on the weekend, I think it was in the New South Wales Cup, Liam Knight received a cannonball tackle on him, and he's now gone to an ACL. Lots of teams are doing it. Lots of players have been trying to do it, and
it's not good.
We talk about the crusher tackle being dangerous. We talk about the wrestle and the ruck being dangerous, even though we don't see as much wrestle in tackles now as we did about 2 years ago. But what I believe, I don't know what everyone in the live chat will think or anyone who watches this review back will think, but in my honest opinion, the cannonball tackle for me needs to be a 12 to 15 week suspension. It needs to be treated the same as an eye gouge. I just feel It's too dangerous. It can end your season. It could put you out for a long time. And we talk about, allowing young kids to play football. Young people want to play sport, want to get into rugby league. Well, how many parents, how many how many people are going to want to play rugby league if they're seeing cannibal tackles only being treated as a 2-week suspension?
It's too bad.
We need it. It needs to be taken out of the game, bro. It's too dangerous.
Definitely. No, I hate it. I really do hate it. It just affects me players when you do it too. Like you said, it sees ending injury. Liam Wright's a good example. Yeah, it's disgusting.
And your neck, and your neck, like obviously it exposes the knee, but it also fucks your neck up. So if you're there and someone comes in from behind on the ground and goes whack, your neck could go back. And you could crack your neck, or you could really, you could do your ankle. You could be out for a long time. ACL injury. So I just want to see this cannibal tackle get taken out of the game, because the one on Brendan Smith tonight in the 27th minute, I thought it was a really, really ugly tackle.
Yeah, it was. It was terrible.
It was quite disappointing. But all right, let's get into the actual game itself, Lorenzo. We're going to go through the tries, and obviously Cronulla winning 28 points to 6. Before we go for the tries, what about Cronulla 28-6, bro? Were you impressed by the Sharks tonight?
Yeah, for sure, bro. I was really impressed with them. Like, I knew that Sharks would win, but I didn't think I smashed Melbourne. I thought Melbourne would probably have a bit more of a response this time around, and maybe keep the game like a lot closer, But yeah, Sharks were all over them. Storm had no answers at all. They got smashed in the middle. I think the Sharks just moved the ball too quickly and looked too smart by moving the ball out to the edges, and that's what troubles Melbourne, moving the ball around, and the Sharks did that. So I think for Sharks to play that well against Melbourne, it's really impressive about Nico Hines as well. So I was really impressed with them.
I'm just sick of hearing all the excuses. Oh, Melbourne didn't have Munster. Munster was out. It's like Nico Hines was out for the Sharks. Both playmakers were out.
Yeah.
If Hines plays and Munster plays, yeah, it's a different game. But everyone's like, oh, Storm would have won if Munster plays tonight, and it's all this. It's like they got rolled through the middle. Their backs destroyed Melbourne. Hines was out for Cronulla. Munster's out for Melbourne. So that's fairly even in itself. I know Munster's a better player, but Nico Hines is very important to the Sharks, especially the way they play and the way they attack. And who else was out from Cronulla? Talakai was out, and Royce Hunt was out. Not Royce Hunt, sorry. Talakai was out, and
Rudolph
was out. And for Melbourne, it was what? Munster, Harry Grant, and Kafusi. So
yeah, that's it.
Both teams had 3 players out, which is even. At the end of the day, Cronulla wanted it more. They were the better team on the night. Melbourne had no answers in attack, especially without Munster. And the Sharks were clinical. They were very good, and they deserved the win. Mate, the performance tonight of Jesse Ramian was outstanding. He scored a hat-trick. How good was Ramian tonight?
Well, that's probably one of his best games all season, I think. I think he's had a couple of games. I think he's had a couple of games this year, but this one was probably the best one, scoring 3 tries, and he just killed that. He killed that left side easily, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. He was on fire tonight. Had a great game. All right, well, let's go for the tries, mate. And it all started there in the 11th minute, mate, where Jesse Ramian scored the first try of the game. Sharks went to that right-hand side, and they had the 2-on-1 there, and Ramian went over and scored. Really good start for the Sharks there, Lorenzo.
Yeah, it was a fast start, wasn't it? They scored pretty early, and that was a nice try as well.
Sharks off to a really good start there in the 11th minute there. Cronulla go to a 4-0 lead, and not long after that, bro, Matt Moylan with a brilliant ball inside for Blake Brayley. Yeah. And Brayley went over and scored, and Sharks 10-0 after 15 minutes. I'm going, bugger me. Melbourne need to wake up quick, because Cronulla were on, weren't they?
That was such an easy try too. Like, you wouldn't often see Melbourne miss a tackle like that, or trying like that happen. So great try. Really
good start for the Sharks. So they were up 10 points to 0 early on, and a bit back and forth there for a while there, Lorenzo. And then 33rd minute, it wouldn't be a Sharks game if this bloke didn't score a try. Ronaldo Mulitalo in the 33rd minute. A bit like Alex Johnson at South Sydney. If there's a Sharks game and Ronaldo doesn't score a try, it just doesn't feel right, bro. Ronaldo going over in the corner once again. Of course he did. It's Ronaldo Mulitalo. Gee, he's a good finisher, isn't he?
No, he's a great player and a great finisher. And I think he, it doesn't feel right when he doesn't score, because he scores every week for Sharks.
How about the try celebration? Because they put the kick
yeah.
through and Ronaldo got over in the corner and then he threw the ball up and then he just started going fishing.
Yeah,
And,
that was good.
that was brilliant. I love that shit. I know it's try July month, but that was brilliant from Ronaldo Mulatalo.
I'd love to see it, honestly.
Going fishing in the Shire. You love to see it. Anyway, Cronulla 16-0 and I'm going, fuck. Melbourne are going to have to try and pull another comeback like they did against Manly last week. But the question was, can they come back and win or will they lose again? Who knows? And then, mate, I think the killer was right before half time where Jesse Raymond got over for his double off that kick and the Sharks were up 20-0. That try before half time from Raymond was very, very crucial, wasn't it?
I think it was, and I had a feeling when Raymond scored that try, I was like, yeah, maybe this is actually the end of the game because I think Sharks had all the momentum at that time, and Melbourne was struggling into the game. Then, yeah, exactly.
They were on all sorts. We get to half time, Cronulla 20-0, and I'm going, well, Craig Bellamy is going to go off his nut, which he did. He was absolutely furious, as you saw on the TV there. He wasn't happy one bit. And then Melbourne, obviously, they tried to get back in the game there in that second half, but things didn't work out. And look, I know it was a one-time thing, but Nick Meaney at 5'8" tonight just clearly didn't work. I honestly thought at half time, I thought they were going to go Nick Meaney to fullback, Pavan in the 5'8", just to get more ball and get more on the attack, but they didn't do that. And Nick Meaney at 5'8", it did not work at all at Lorenzo. It didn't work, did it?
He's not a 5'8". It's pretty clear, isn't it? Like, he just kept getting tackled every time around the ball. No, it didn't work.
No creativity, no kicking game. Wasn't a threat at all with the football. Defensively, it wasn't too bad in defense, but obviously he got caught out quite a lot there. But Nick Meaney at 5'8", you don't want to see it because it doesn't work out. All right, we get into the second half there, mate, and in the 59th minute, it was still 20-0 Cronulla. Brendan Smith, he said something to the referee. I'm assuming he said he's a fuckwit or he went off at him. He said, you're a fucking asshole. Melbourne had the ball. They were on the attack, 30 metres out. Smith picked it up from dummy half, passed it to someone, and then Melbourne got tackled. And Smith, I don't know what he said. He said something to the referee, and then the referee blew a penalty to Cronulla, and Brendan Smith got sin bin full descent, and then went down the tunnel there. Sharks fans giving it to him, which is fine.
Yeah,
I've got no problem with the Sharks fans giving it to Brendan Smith, but as long as they do it appropriately, someone obviously said something stupid, and Smith went back and said, "What'd you say, bro?" And then he wasn't happy. He had the shits. First things first, the discipline of Brendan Smith needs to improve because that's pretty disappointing for someone to get sin bin while they had the ball in hand. And do you think that fan in the crowd said something too far, Lorenzo?
Well, I think if anyone was to retaliate and look back, for example, like Smith did, I think it obviously was something pretty stupid he probably said. And I don't blame Smith for being angry there. I think if anyone's going to say something stupid to someone, then I would say something back probably. So I can't blame Smith there. But as for the incident on the field, yeah, it must be really bad what he said to get sin bin. So I'm guessing the NRL will look more into that probably.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he said, but according to the commentators on Channel 9, they were saying that only the players on the field and the referee know what was said. The sideline commentators weren't able to pick it up, which is probably a good thing because, as we all know, what happens on the field stays on the field. Exactly. So it doesn't matter what Brendan Smith said. At the end of the day, he's got himself to blame. Said something to the referee, got binned, move on. A fan said something to him that was probably a bit too far, but I'm sure he'll learn from it and he'll get better. But pretty silly from Brendan Smith. But I just hope that fan didn't say anything racist or anything stupid.
Hope not, because that would probably be a bad look on him as well.
Well, I'm pretty sure we will find out what was said because look, the people are like it was at the front of the dressing sheds where the players walk in and walk out of, and there were phones there, so I'm sure it would have been recorded. So. Yeah. I reckon in the next 48 hours, there'll be a video going around where we'll find out what was said. But, yeah, hopefully no racial slurs or hopefully no bullshit like that.
Exactly.
But who the fuck knows? Anyway, still 20-0. And Melbourne were trying hard for a while there. Like, they're trying to get points, but they had no creativity tonight. And then we get to the 67th minute, and Sione Katoa, he's another try scorer that just is an absolute weapon for the Sharks. He went over and scored, and it was 24-0 Cronulla Lorenzo.
That's probably when it sort of summed up the night from the Storm. I thought up until that point it was all, a win for Sharks pretty much. And that was a good try as well, actually, Katoa scored.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then the Sharks went in again. Ramian went over again and got his hat-trick. But hang on. Before that, a no try to Ryan Pappenhausen for obstruction. I was absolutely furious with this decision. Braden Trindle made the defensive decision. He contacted the Melbourne player Kenny Bromwich first. He made first. I think it was Jesse Bromwich actually. He made contact with him. He made contact with him first. It was a defensive decision, but they called it obstruction. No try, Pappenhausen. I was quite disappointed with the decision from the bunker.
Yeah, it looked like he was going for a defensive decision there, but I guess if they want to be consistent, then that's what the result will be, unfortunately.
The problem I have is if the player in the defensive line makes first contact, then for me, that's a defensive decision and that should be play on. But the bunker didn't see it that way, and it ended up being no try being overturned. Yep. So really disappointed with that. Anyway, Sharks get down the other end next set off the penalty, and they score again through Ramian, who gets a hat-trick, Lorenzo. Sharks 28-0. What the fuck?
It blew out up to that point, and Ramian deserved the hat-trick, so good on him.
And then there was a late try to Melbourne. Oh, actually, no, before that, Fafita got sin-bin for a bad tackle on Smith where he lifted him on the legs, and Smith almost landed on his head. I thought it would have been a send-off. Personally, I thought it was a send-off offense, but they just gave it a bin. What were your thoughts on the Andrew Fafita tackle?
I mean, like, I've seen tackles like that that have resulted in a send-off before, but I guess maybe because it wasn't as dangerous as what it looked like to other ones. Yeah. I mean, there's been plenty of them, but I don't know. That was a result in the end.
Yeah. And then with about 2 minutes to go, Alex McDonald off the bench for the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah.
I believe it was his first ever NRL try. So well done to the young front rower. He's a big bloody tearaway, isn't he, that McDonald?
Yeah, he's not bad. I think he's actually not a bad young player. It was good to see McDonald get his first try in the NRL. I think he actually had a good game for Melbourne despite losing, so good signs there. Absolutely.
No, absolutely, bro. And we get the full time, and the Sharks beat the Melbourne Storm 28-6 down there at Shark Park on a Thursday night. The ground didn't look too bad. It was a bit wet, a bit slippery, but wasn't as bad as what it was against the Bulldogs last week when they played the Bulldogs and those dreadful flood conditions. But full time, Sharks 28, Storm 6. Lorenzo, I just want to ask you this as well, mate. Obviously, Melbourne had 3 players out. Sharks had 3 players out, so Melbourne fans need to stop saying, "Oh, we didn't have Munster." It's like Sharks had 3 players out as well, including a half. So both teams had a new combination tonight. So stop sulking about players being out. That would be good if Melbourne fans will stop crying about it. But I don't know about you, bro, but I reckon Melbourne have plenty of cracks in them, bro.
Well, I mean, just going to go back to that excuse of what Melbourne is saying with like missing Munster, Grant, all them. Well, you can't blame that for the amount of penalties and 6 against they gave away. It's like because the amount of 6 against the penalties they gave away and the errors that they made themselves was shocking. That's unlike Melbourne, and you can't blame those players not being there for the reason behind that. So it's definitely a confidence thing. That's an issue for Melbourne, but I think there is a lot of cracks in Melbourne. You're right. I mean, that left edge with right edge, I should say. I think it's Seve and Anderson. That's definitely that's not working. Well,
I felt sorry for Grant Anderson tonight. He got bashed around. I mean, he had a head shot. He passed that. He got another head knock, and then I think he got injured. He got injured later on. I think what was it? Was it his arm?
Elbow.
That looked fucking awful. That was awful. That was bad. I felt so sorry for him. But yeah, if Melbourne fans are saying it's an excuse because I didn't have Munster, cry me a river. Cry me a river. Get over it. That's ridiculous. The penalty count tonight was, I think it was 9-9 from what I remember.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
What was it? Fucking, where is it? Oh, yeah. 10-9 penalty count, Melbourne.
That's all right. I think that's
6
all right.
against. I think, I don't know what 6 again. What Sharks, I think Melbourne did get 4 in a row at one point. So I can't.
Yeah, yeah. Around
I
the
don't have the number in front of me because the NRL website hasn't updated it yet. But this Melbourne did get a few set restarts, but the Sharks did as well. Both teams did. I've got a bold call to make here, bro.
Oh, what's that?
It's a really, really bold call.
All right, good to hear it.
I know Melbourne were without a few players. I know Cronulla were without a few players. But honestly, and I genuinely believe this, I can't see the Melbourne Storm winning the premiership this season at all.
Wow.
I can't see it.
That's a big call, bro.
I can't see it.
I can't blame you though, because I think their form's been a little bit slumped the past couple of weeks.
I think everyone's starting to work them out. I mean,
yeah,
I think Melbourne is starting to get found out a little bit here. I mean, they were beaten by Manly last week at Brookvale. Manly are probably what 7th or 8th best team in the comp, 9th best team in the comp. So Manly aren't even in that bracket as a top 4 fucking threat.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not even in the 8. Cronulla have been thereabouts most of the year, around the top 4 and around that 5th to 3rd position. And Melbourne keep getting injuries. They keep losing players. Teams are starting to work them out. They've lost back-to-back games in Sydney now to Manly and Cronulla. I reckon the Panthers, Cowboys, Sharks, and the Broncos are more of a chance of winning this year's premiership than the Storm.
Well, yeah, wow, that's very bold. You can't get any bolder than that. I mean, I can't disagree with most of what you said there, but I think Melbourne are still in the mix.
I know people are going to say, "Oh, you can't write Melbourne off because they had a few players out tonight." They've been doing it for a few weeks. They look like a different team, like Electrical Dust just written in the chat. They are very different. And if you remember, last season, Melbourne was so dominant, then they still lost in the finals when they were meant to beat Penrith. So
yeah, that's
you
right.
You can't tell me Melbourne are better this year than what they were last year. They are much more vulnerable this season than what they were last year. I reckon the Melbourne Storm of 2021 would beat this current Melbourne team 13+. That's how much I reckon they've fallen off a bit. And fuck, man, I reckon they're in trouble. I really do.
Well, their confidence looks shot tonight. I mean, you can't blame, like I said, you can't blame Munster, Grant, and Kafusi all out because of their
Sharks had Hines and fucking Talakai out.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't blame on that.
And I just want to go to live chat, and we got a $5 super chat from King Julian. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat, bro. Really appreciate it, my friend. He says, Nick, I got an even bolder call. I got Storm falling out of the top 4. Now,
I don't think so.
It wouldn't shock me, bro, because now the Cowboys are now second on the ladder, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Cronulla are equal 3rd. Brisbane are 2 games behind Melbourne. Brisbane do play Melbourne in a few weeks at Brisbane, so that'll be a very vital game, I reckon, for both sides. So that'll be interesting. But it is a bold call from missing out in the top 4, but
that is bold.
If Brisbane and Parramatta can get up there, fuck, you never know.
I think Brisbane can, but I can't see Parramatta.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't know, man. I think Melbourne are looking vulnerable, and this team that they currently have, last year they were so much better than this. At the moment, they look so vulnerable. I can't see them winning the comp at all.
Oh, yeah, well, at this point, it doesn't look good, does it? I mean, like I said, they're in the mix, but I think Cowboys and Panthers look a lot stronger than what they are.
I reckon the Panthers and Cowboys would absolutely flog Melbourne if they played tomorrow. I reckon they would absolutely flog them.
Oh, yeah. At this rate, yeah. I agree. Easy.
I reckon Penrith would put 30 on them, and I reckon the Cowboys would put 14 to 18 on them right now.
Yeah, probably. I mean, if Melbourne keep this up, then I think them two can.
Fuck me, the fucking Dragons will beat them at this point, the way they're fucking going, if they're not careful. Fuck me dead. Who knows? Anyway, the Sharks. Obviously, a good win for them. Would you call them contenders?
It's a tough one to use around the Sharks because I think Sharks are they're up there, like they're definitely up there, but I don't know they're actual contenders though. Like I don't think that they're serious contenders for the premiership or anything.
Really?
But yeah, but I think the top four they are. Like just I don't think they're premiership contenders though. That's what I think.
I reckon they are contenders, bro. I reckon they can win the comp.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think they've got a consistency issue.
We know Penrith are a level above. We know they're the team to beat, and it's probably their competition to lose. But if we get a nice sunny day in the Shire or at Penrith, the Sharks are capable of knocking them off. I reckon they are capable.
Yeah, I think probably, but I think just looking at some of the Sharks' performance, they're just being consistent. Like they can
be a bit inconsistent. Yes.
Yeah. They barely beat Gold Coast, but yeah.
The Gold Coast is the fucking Gold Coast. No one cares about the Gold Coast. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
I said this the other week. I reckon Byron Bay could beat the Gold Coast at the moment. That's how fucked the Gold Coast are. I reckon you could get the best rugby league players from Lismore, Casino, Ballina, and Byron, or Tweed Heads and Wollumba. Put them all in one fucking team with the best players you can get, and I reckon they could beat the Gold Coast.
I mean, it's worth a shot. I'll put some money on it. I could.
Fucking oath. Todd Carney to lead him to victory.
Todd
Jamie
Carney,
Lyon to come back in the centres for Ballina.
How good. I'd love to see that.
All right, bro. Give me your top 3 players on ground from tonight's game.
Yeah, so number 3, I've got Matt Moylan. Thought he was really good tonight. I think he was actually fantastic with the absence of Hines. Number 2, I've got Sione Katoa for me. I think he had a very fair game on that wing. And my other man in the match has to be Jesse Ramian. It just has to be. His hat trick and everything, he was fantastic, I thought.
Yeah, nice. I like it, bro. I really do like it. I'm going to go number 3. I'm going to go with Cameron McGuinness.
Yeah,
I thought off the bench, came on and played like. I thought McGuinness was outstanding when he came off the bench tonight. Number 2, I'm going to go with Matt Moylan as well. Thought Moylan was classy out there tonight, bro. His passing game has got so much better, and Matt Moylan's career has been reborn. I think Matt Moylan's playing great footy at the moment, and it's good to see him playing good because about a year ago, we all thought Matt Moylan was going to retire. So
yeah, that's right.
Matt Moylan has reborn his career, and that's thanks to the head coach, Craig Fitzgibbon, and the confidence that he's given Matt Moylan. So number 2, Matty Moylan, and number 1, well, the hat-trick man tonight, Jesse Ramian, had a fucking awesome game. 3 tries. He made Justin Olam his little bitch out there tonight. Thought Ramian was classy. So Ramian is the man of the match in the Sharks' 28-6 win over the Storm.
Well, yeah, I think he killed the Storm, and it was a great win by the Sharks. So good on them. And they if they keep this sort of form up, you never know. I think Cowboys and Sharks will be a good match next week. It's
the game of the round next week for sure. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a big game. It's a big game.
Well, the Cowboys will stay second now, and the Sharks will stay 4th. So next Friday night, 6:00 up in Townsville, 2 days after Origin 3, Cowboys versus Sharks. I don't know how many players will back up for the Cowboys from Origin, but that promises to be a massive game next weekend, bro. For round 18, top 4 clash in Townsville. Cowboys Sharks. That should be a blockbuster.
I'll be watching for sure. No doubt. I can't miss that.
Could be a game of the year contender. Who the hell knows?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
All right, ProEnzo. Well, mate, thank you very much for coming on at the Thursday night football review, bro. Really appreciate your time tonight.
No, never an issue, bro. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, great game tonight. Well done to the Sharks.
Well done to the Sharks, absolutely. And if you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream, I hope you guys can like the live stream and comment your thoughts on the game from tonight, where the Sharks had a beautiful 28-6 win over the Melbourne Storm. And if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel of ProEnzo Vidz, make sure you do. His YouTube channel is in the link below in the description. But we're getting out of here, guys, and I'll be live again. I think it's in 20 minutes. I'm just going to double check that. I'm not 100% sure what time I'm going live. I'm going live again, lads, at in 21 minutes from now at 10:45 for the Super League Magic Weekend tipping video. So that's going to be interesting. But, guys, I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys again in about 20 minutes or so. But until then, have a good night. And I hope Melbourne fans are upset tonight. Up Cronulla.